Hi guys, today I'm talking with Weil of Money Positive. He's a financial planner and I've known him for coming on 3 decades now. Lewis, can you tell us a little bit about your business?
I'm so glad that you do know my last name after 3 decades. I was like, if he says Wheel. um, yeah, Matt and I have been friends since we were in second grade. We definitely did not foresee that we would get into our respective industries and end up here talking professionally about home refinances, but I'm really excited. This is gonna be a lot of fun. So like Matt said, I'm Lewis Weil. I'm a financial planner at a company called Money Positive, and we work with regular people, for lack of a better term. Like financial planning is usually for people who have like 500 to $1 million of investment, and there's not really help for people who aren't in that position, for people who are just self-employed or working for a living and just trying to make budgets and get by. So that's what we do, is we work with people like that to like make a budget, figure out how to save and buy homes. Is a lot of like, that's a thing that we do a lot of.
So let me ask you, what do you know about refinancing?
Uh, yeah, it's something that's been coming up a lot. So it's a mixture of my own experience from our own home. We have refinanced our home before, and it's become a big topic lately. Uh, the way I was talking about refinancing, like, because I didn't know about it until I did it a few years ago, um, that it's basically like you're buying your home again. Like you're taking out a new mortgage. So like a mortgage is a big loan that you to pay off over the course of 15 to 30 years. They calculate the interest into it, and then you pay on that for 15 to 30 years. A refinance is basically you're buying your own home again. So you take out a new mortgage, that mortgage pays off the old mortgage, and then you have a new loan, often restarting 15 to 30 years, but at a different interest rate.
Let me ask you, just paperwork wise, any easier or just about the same?
When we did it, it was a bit easier, because they didn't have to do as many like inspections and stuff as they did the first time. Honestly, we were just in a better position financially the second time around, because now we had more equity in the house, a longer credit history at that point. So in some ways it ended up being easier. It was surprisingly not as easy as I thought it was going to be, because I would like went to the place that I had the mortgage already and wanted to buy get a new mortgage, and they needed all this documentation that I like, didn't we do this with you the first time? And they needed it all over again. Which I will admit that even though a financial planner who knows what they should do doesn't always get around to doing it, because sometimes it's just not fun. We did a refinance a few years ago, and we need to do another one, and I have been dragging my feet about it. It's not that bad. It's a matter of gathering up some documents, but it's easy to procrastinate on. But I know it would save us tens of thousands of dollars, and I really.
Let me ask you, from a financial planner side, I know you mentioned basically for home renovation. What are valid reasons for you to pull equity from your home?
Yeah, and I would even argue that we might be a bit of an edge case in that scenario. I am a financial planner. I did my own financial plan. So in a scenario like that, work with a professional, look at what it means for your budget. Um, Generally the only times to do it, I would say, are um, I would really only recommend it when someone is doing something that will put equity back into their home. Like if taking money out during a refinance and then putting it back in to update the home, fix issues, basically you're not actually losing the money. You're converting equity into cash and then converting cash into value in the home. You need to think carefully about it. You need to not go over what you don't want to have like a ridiculously fancy house in a neighborhood that doesn't have similar homes. But if you can make your house more modern, update the kitchen, the bathrooms, the bedrooms, the floors, stuff that are appealing, you can actually basically end up not losing money. I would not recommend taking money out to do other things because that ends up being an expensive way to do it because you're getting it at a low interest rate, but over like, so if you took out 20 grand and then used it to pay for your kid's wedding, yes, it's a low interest rate, but you're going to end up paying a lot over time. There are other better ways to do it. One thing that we think about, so there's the actual costs of the refinance, and it does make sense to around 1%, like the math starts to make sense to go through the trouble of refinancing. But what we look at when we're helping someone decide whether to do it or not is what does that mean for their budget? Because we like to see people have less than 50% of their income being spent on bills total. So like their mortgage, their utilities, their homeowners insurance, all the things that they have to spend money on, we try to get them to have less than 50% obligated, because that's just where we find people's budgets are sustainable and they're able to hit their other savings goals and still have money to like spend and live and have a decent lifestyle. So a lot of times people ask us about refinancing. And, you know, I might encourage it because I know that if they refinance, they'll either keep their payment or have a lower payment. And it'll like make their budget more flexible. I'm often advocating to people like, yes, this is how we're going to like, it's going to help you with your home payment, but what it's going to do is make your month easier. Like you're going to have more flexibility to do other stuff outside of just your home.
Any tips or advice you'd have for people who have refinanced based on the fact that you've done it twice yourself already?
Shop around. Don't like, credit unions are very nice. They're good to you, but there's loyalty doesn't get you anything. So staying with the place that you're in doesn't really get you anything. So look around, find the best interest rates. I would discourage people from putting their information in any of those like websites that will say they'll help you find the best interest rate, because they don't really have any information that you can't find on your own, and you'll end up on some spam thing and end up getting 20 phone calls a day. I might know that from experience. So shop around, ask your realtor that sold you the home. Like, they are a wealth of knowledge and they have an interest in keeping a good relationship with you. So never, I hope I'm not about to give you a bunch of work. Reach out, never like be afraid to reach out to your original realtor. Always work with a realtor that you want to have an ongoing relationship with. Like because they're going to be with you when you do stuff on your home or when you buy your next home. So like ask them like, what are the going rates? What are the best places right now? And shop around and do the math to see there's lots of good mortgage calculators. Like, what is this going to do to your budget? Those are the two big things I would recommend someone do before doing it. And you can always start the process and then realize you don't want to do it.
Thanks, Louis, for those tips. I also wanted to thank you for all the time you generously gave us today. And to those of you listening, thank you also for listening to our talk on refinance. Hopefully you got some good information from it and have something you can use going forward. If you have any other questions, you of course know how to get a hold of me. And I've included a link to Louis's site right after this video ends. Look forward to talking with you all and hope you have great months.